I am Daniel Likis.
I am Sal Casenza, and you're watching
Percussi! Yes, another week, another great episode. And Mr. Sal?
Yes. So, on this episode, we are joined by a very special guest. They know him as Michael the Show Richau. So, Michael the Show Richau, R-I-C-H-A-U. I need a nickname. Daniel, we need to have something soon. But
Yes.
Michael is the owner and the creative director of Boom with an exclamation point. Right? It has to be boom. It's not boom. It's boom.
Boom!
Boom Percussion Entertainment, which is based in Mesa, Arizona. And it's a sort of incredible experience, a musical experience, entertainment experience. It's not just Michael. It's a ton of musical people, creative people. They're playing at fairs. They're playing at corporate events, sporting events, parks, festivals, you name it. Boom is there. Michael, by the way, is the big brother of Jenny Richau, who we had on our podcast a few weeks back.
Yes.
So check out that episode when you can. Jenny is the founder of Richau & Co. So we have a super talented family in our midst, Daniel.
Oh, yes.
And I'm curious to know if you have other siblings. Bring them on.
That's it.
Liz.
That's all. We're the only two that I know about.
Oh, but gotcha. the official siblings. Okay. So Michael, by the way, has a baker's dozen in terms of years. That's 13 years, Daniel. These jokes are bad, but Michael is a former musical director for 13 years with Mesa Public Schools, a fellow Coronado High School alum, which I am as well, and I think
Nice.
Jenny is as well, right? Michael's been playing drums since the tender age of 8 years old, which was a couple years back, right? And aside from, again, providing specialized musical entertainment experiences, Boom also works with a variety of Valley-based charities and organizations, including being a sponsor of United Sound, which supports musical experiences for students with special needs through a peer mentorship program. And I believe in the past, Boom has worked with Honor Health, which is near and dear to me. If you'd like to learn more or find out more or book Boom, you can go to marchingbandboom.com. That's marchingbandboom.com. Follow them on Instagram at Boom Percussion. That's Boom Percussion. Check out their YouTube, and I want to show, just to get us in the swing of things and in the mood, I want to share screen now. And sort of, I saw this online, and I couldn't look away. I think it's a great way to start the episode off. So hopefully you could all hear
Oh,
this.
wow. Boom!
Adjust your volume. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
And I could keep going and going, but so Michael, thank you for being here. Number one.
Yes, thank you.
Let me stop share. Hold on. Okay. So, my first question for you, Michael, is did you ever imagine yourself doing this as a young kid? Like what were you as a kid? Were you introverted? Were you extroverted? Is this a lifelong sort of dream, or is this like something that came out of left field?
That's a good question. I definitely have an answer for you there. I first want to start by saying I know I gave you some resources to kind of start off with. I don't know if I gave you all that information, but you definitely did your homework here to to kind of give the whole like introduction here. So thanks for preparing all that. Yeah, no, that's a great question. Ever since I was just a real young kid, my parents would listen to rock music on the radio, and we're talking the 1980s. And I remember having a particular interest in music, and my mom would buy me cassette tapes of my favorite bands, and I remember looking inside I'd get the cassette tape, and I look inside the jacket and see pictures of these bands, and just thought it was the coolest thing that these guys, it was almost like these characters. Back in the 80s, you had bands like Motley Crue and Bon Jovi, and they'd wear this total rock star attire, and it was like this like
like a persona.
Yeah, like a character, a persona. It was like this next level kind of thing. It wasn't it was more than the music. It was about these people being these characters, and it was entertainment. The entertainment factor for the people, for the listeners, for the fans. And I've always kind of been attracted to that. Ever since I was in like first grade, my mom bought me my first Bon Jovi cassette. And I would look at the costumes that they would wear, like these leopard print tight spandex pants, and I wanted them. I wanted to wear them. And like I was like, where do they buy these clothes? I want to own the pants like this. When we walk through Sears,
you can't get that at Macy's. I don't know.
No, we walk through Sears going to Los Arcos Mall. I don't know if you remember Los Arcos Mall.
Oh my gosh. I miss that mall dearly. Anyway,
we walk through Sears, and I'd be like, they don't sell this kind of stuff over at Sears, you know?
Yep.
But it was that whole thing that I was just drawn to, this presence, this performance aspect of that went beyond the music, and it's just the whole experience. And so I've always kind of been into that ever since I was a young kid. There was, so as I've grown up, I've always kind of wanted to be that. And I always felt like the question about the introvert extrovert thing, that's interesting, because I would say in general, I tend to be pretty introverted around people maybe I don't know so well, or that I haven't met before. But when I get in my comfort zone, which is playing the drums, I feel like I'm this circus monkey all of a sudden. And I want to put on a show for everybody, and I just want to be the center of attention, almost kind of like, hey, everybody, look at me. So I'm an introvert sort of off the stage and an extrovert on the stage. But when my parents decided that I had this particular interest in music at the age of 8, they decided that they would invest in some kind of music lessons for me. And I said, we want to pay for music lessons. Have you thought about an instrument that you want to play? And I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure I want to play the drums. And they're like, you sure you don't want to do guitar or something? And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely positive I want to play the drums. And so I started taking private drum lessons in 3rd grade, the year before you could start band in school. So I always played in the school band programs, 4th grade through 12th grade. And I always felt like I was kind of at least one step ahead of the game as far as what everybody else was learning, because I was also taking private lessons on the side. But the entertainment factor of music, as I experienced as a kid, definitely influenced me as an adult and plays into what I do now professionally, trying to give people, patrons, attendees at events, that same experience, that same, entertainment value that goes beyond just the music.
So it sounds like the introverts stop right before the show is about to begin. And when you're up there on the stage with your band, you're cooking, right? It's kind of like that, you're home, right? Like that part of you is home and alive. And that's a common thing, right? For many musicians, it's kind of like what they are like in their personal life is a different sort of reality from then when they're on the stage. They feel like maybe they're who they truly were meant to be up there, right? Yeah. Which is very fascinating. I feel a little bit of that when I'm teaching, because you're teaching in front of a large group of people. and I enjoy it, and you can tell that you definitely enjoy what you do. I want to also ask, how do you know when your band and when you are cooking? Like, is it the audience? Is it the energy of the audience? Is it the choreography? Because looking at that video, looks like you practiced a hell of a lot, right? Everything's got to be sort of, it's a study of perfection, right? And so, how do you know when you're up there if you're cooking or not?
The big answer, that's a great question. The big picture answer to that is the interaction that you're getting from your attendees, from your audience. And you can practice, you can be a very, as far as I'm concerned, the way I look at entertainment is, you know, as artists, whether we're visual artists, you know, whether it's in the form of music, we train ourselves to get to this extremely high level. But when we're actually performing or creating for people, as from my experience as a musical entertainer, the high level of precision that we've prepared for isn't necessary usually. It's the energy that you're putting out. It's the energy that you're getting back, and it's usually in a much simpler form than people think. Unless you're playing for it depends on who your audience is, of course. Our audiences are many of them are corporate audiences, people that don't necessarily have a high level of knowledge about music, but they want to be entertained. They know what fun looks like. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be difficult to create a good time. In fact, it usually doesn't create a good time if it's something that's too complex or overly difficult. People tend to react more to something that's simple. We can dance around and have fun with the attendees. They're having fun back. So that's really where that energy is kind of given back and forth when we can have a good time together. If that makes sense, if that answers your question.
Yeah, so I would assume every concert, even if you might have the same set list or whatnot, it's going to be a unique experience every time, right? Because again, that what you're talking about, that dialogue that you have with the audience could allow for spontaneous moments to erupt, and then you sort of just go with it, right? That
Yeah,
that's probably the greatest experience.
going with it is something that's really important to be able to do, and it comes at a higher level when you become more proficient and more comfortable with yourself as an artist and a performer. You know, not all beginner entry level people in the art are going to maybe feel comfortable with that, but it's once you develop that base level of proficiency on your instrument or your craft that you can pivot and make adjustments and still do the performance but interact at a higher level while you're still performing. So you're not thinking about what you're doing as much. You're thinking about the interaction with your audience that way.
It's like what they say I always compare it to a great actor, right? They know the script backward to forward, right? They know it. They know every word, but then they're free to then improvise and change it because they know it in the first place. And you've been knowing it since you were 8, right? So that's great. I want to ask you also about your charitable work that you and Boom have been involved with. So you've been involved with United Sound, you've been involved with Honor Health. How important is it for the arts in general to give back?
Well, yeah, it's I mean, we work with, you know, we're so visible in the community, you know, and there's so many different ways that we can help. With Honor Health that was during COVID, and there were so many medical professionals that were working so hard and overtime during that time in you know, risky situations and dangerous settings, and you know, there were so many questions that we didn't know about the virus, but still people had to be there to help care for other people, and we thought it was really important to kind of reward them with a little bit of some kind of, you know, appreciation. So we went out to an Honor Health location. We had a good friend, Steve Suggs, that works for Honor Health and was able to help make that connection happen. Nice. So that was something that we're really proud of during COVID. United Sound is an organization. I'm familiar with Julie Duty, the founder of the organization. She was actually a student teacher for my band program when I was in high school. So we go way back. She created this organization, and as a music teacher, former music teacher, I find it really important for everyone to have access to music. And the way that the current music programs are set up in schools, there's a high level of focus on the competitive nature of it. And in my opinion, not maybe enough on the educational aspect, in the sense that all students should be included. And there are a lot of special needs programs at schools, but in many cases, those students aren't given the access or the resources or opportunity to be a part of programs. So United Sound allows for those at certain schools where the program is set up, allows students that have special needs to be a part of the music program and perform in concerts and so forth. Music is a powerful thing, it can entertain, but it's also something that's very therapeutic for people as well to perform. As you know, as an artist yourself, it's like we create art, maybe commissions for people, but we also need it for ourselves because it fulfills us. It's who we are. We need it to create and contribute to the world.
Yeah, 100%. And it's also our chance to react to the world and say something, right? Through our sort of gifts. I do want to ask you, as you were a musical educator, and you were also a percussionist and drum soloist with Disney for a while. Is that accurate or?
Yeah, so partially, I played for a period of time in a show called Blast. And Blast they had a few different outlets that they would. For one, they had a show for a little while in London on the West End. They had a show on Broadway in New York. They had a touring cast throughout the United States. They played in Asia. There were also casts that were at Disney World and Disneyland. So I was on the Disneyland cast back in 2002. And I was not actually an employee of Disney. I was an employee of Blast, but
Gotcha.
The show was performing at the Hyperion Theater at Disney's California Adventure in 2002 when I was in that show.
So in these sort of past chapters of your life, how much of it still informs your current, or did any of it hasten Boom to come to be?
Yeah, that's a great question because literally every single aspect of everything I've ever done has kind of culminated to create Boom, essentially, or everything I've learned from every outlet that I've ever done has contributed something to Boom. For example, when I was teaching was actually a really big part of how I continue to run Boom. Everything from the way that we would deliver information. It sounds like you're a teacher as well. So, you think, okay, well, I need my students to get from point A to point B. I've got to, what do they need to know at point B? What do I need to start with A? How do I need to get them there to the second point? What do I need to teach them? How do we scaffold this? How do we layer this? And then you get it really deep into the lessons, and you think about it's very meticulous. It's like an art form, teaching itself. You look at comedians. Comedians have this down to a science. The delivery of a joke, how you're going to deliver information, the timing of the punchline, the way the punchline is pronounced or articulated or spoken. All those things are down to a science. It's the same thing with teaching. If you're teaching, especially kids grades kindergarten through sixth grade, you've really got to be animated and creative on how you deliver this information. So I really had to think about a lot of different things. How do I get this information to the students? How do I captivate them? How do I make them remember this information? How do I get them from here to there? It's the same thing when we do Boom. If we're up on stage at a corporate event and the audience is going to laugh at something, we need to really look at the way that we're delivering this. If we don't get a laugh one day at one event, okay, what did we do wrong? Oh, we forgot to say this first. You've got to really set everything up. It's a very, very delicate process when you're dealing with entertainment. But a lot of those aspects from teaching carry over. Now, as far as the business standpoint, dealing with parents when I was a teacher, when I was dealing with parents and doing presentations or dealing with parent complaints, it's like dealing with sales now. I've got to deal with customers, prospects that want to hire us, and I've got to know how to talk to them. I've got to know how to present the right information that will make our product, it will make them help understand our product and how it will help them. If there's a problem, if there's a conflict, I know how to deal with that because of my previous experience being a teacher and dealing with conflict in those areas. So everything that I've done up to this point has really been necessary and helpful in allowing me to do what I do today with Boom.
It's an unfolding story. It's continuing, and everything you just said is sort of getting back to that perfectionism that I'm talking about, like all of the behind the scenes things that need to work in order for the show to go on and be as flawless as it is. We're talking with Michael the Show Richau. Again, check out marchingbandboom.com. Follow Boom on Instagram at Boom Percussion. Daniel, do you have any questions for Mr. the Show Richau?
Yes. Boom. Which artists or genres influence your early style, and how has your sound evolved over time?
Yeah, that's another great question. I mentioned before that I grew up in the 80s, and I mentioned a couple of bands like Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, another couple of favorites like Def Leppard, Poison, some of the bands that I grew up listening to. And even I liked the songwriting. I thought the songwriting was fun. I thought the nature of the music was fun. Party music, good time music, but also the theatrics that went on behind it, the pyrotechnics that they'd have on stage. If you go back and watch those videos from those concerts, the explosions and the pyrotechnics and the entertainment value, all that stuff just captivated me. And I play now, in addition to running Boom full time, I work as a freelance drummer as well, freelance musician. I do a lot of work with a company called Tad Management, and with Tad we do a lot of tribute shows. So tribute shows, we do the music of Billy Joel, Elton John, ABBA, Barry Manilow, the Carpenters, a lot of different types of music and styles. But it's funny how the style of music that I grew up kind of still infiltrates into what I do. So we do the Billy Joel and Elton John tribute show, and I'm up there, I'm doing like twirling my sticks and flipping them in the air, which is not necessarily in line with that particular genre or style, but I make it fit where it's appropriate, I think, in my opinion. Maybe other people, based on social media comments, might disagree with that, but I feel like I place it where it needs to be placed, where it's appropriate. And it's also, I don't know, maybe my signature flair that I have to just kind of naturally just pepper in to make my presence known. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to throw a couple stick twirls and some stick flips in just because that's kind of what I do. But it does carry over into everything that I do. Everything I grew up with, that entertainment aspect definitely filters into what I do now today professionally.
Nice. In our remaining moments, so is there anything that is coming up that you're excited about, something you want to announce to everyone?
Well, that's an interesting question because
I'm sure you're booked galore, right?
I am. And the funny thing is that what I love about this job that I do is that every day is so different. Whether I'm touring, performing in different cities, or I'm just at home, I never know or in the office or at home, I never know what types of inquiries I'm going to get. And how where life could take me the next minute. We got a call one day for a request to play at a birthday party, which was like 3 days prior to the actual party. Turns out that was Cardi B's 26th birthday party in Las Vegas. So nice. in 3 days time, we put together a 14-piece marching band and created a custom arrangement of one of her songs. Did the event. So things can just completely spiral out of, your plans can totally change. But that's what I love about this line of work. Not everybody might be able to handle a lifestyle like that. Some people feel more comfortable perhaps just going to work every day, clocking in, clocking out, 9 a.m., 5 p.m., come home, crack a beer, watch TV. But I prefer to have the lifestyle that I do have, which is very exciting. And if I were to name one thing that would be coming up, I mean, we have a couple Midwest tours coming up. That would be exciting. But to name one particular thing, I don't know, because it's all exciting. So.
But it's the spontaneity that's probably always unpredictable and exciting. I'm like you. I need spontaneity in my life. A desk job, and me, no. I did want to ask you, because I have a background in architecture. I'm always interested in this. Do you prefer an enclosed venue or do you prefer an open outdoor venue? And if it's enclosed, what is it just about acoustics? Is it about proximity to the audience that you're most concerned about? I wonder if you could give us some insight from an architectural standpoint, what you're seeking when you perform.
Yeah, that's it really kind of depends, on the venue. One of my favorite we have a couple favorite venues to play that are indoor venues. One is Wild Horse Pass Casino, the theater. I can't remember what the theater is over there. It's an indoor venue, but it's just an amazing venue to play in. There's a theater that's in Wisconsin. I can't remember the Fireside Theater. I can't remember where it is in Wisconsin, what the city is, but it's in the Round. So it's a stage where we play in the Round. We play there with the Billy Joel and Elton John tribute show. The pianos are on this revolving centerpiece in the stage, which goes around in a circle, and the band set up around them. The audience is all around us. So that's a lot of that's a lot of fun. It's very unique. Basically, I'm a heavy hitting drummer. So if it's inside, if it's a place where I can play loud and nobody's going to be complaining to me that I'm playing too loud, I like it. Outdoor venues are fun because sometimes we'll play like an outdoor festival and maybe a few thousand people. And it's fun because then I can hit hard and loud and everybody's, partying and dancing and stuff. So it's a good time too. So it really depends on the venue. As long as nobody's telling me to turn it down, I don't care where I'm inside or outside.
Yeah. Michael Richau is with us. Again, check out marchingbandboom.com. And I just want to thank you, Michael, for being here. This was a real treat. I wish you and urge you only the best, right? I think that the world, especially right now, needs more joy, more celebration, right? So keep it up. You're doing a great thing. You're doing good work. It's been an honor to get to talk with you. Daniel, anything else we should add, or any other final questions?
Yes, my final question to you, Mr. Bill, where do you see your musical journey heading next? What are new horizons are you excited to explore?
Yeah,
Wisconsin. No.
Fort Atkinson is a town in Wisconsin. Just wanted to get that in before the end. No, just getting bigger, doing bigger things, working more on maybe an international scale, and just continuing to expand what I do, making a footprint so that there's something to be left behind at the end of my life. I can say and feel like I actually made an impression and impact on some people and hopefully left something positive behind.
Very well said. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you for your legacy to the world. And we are hoping for more and more success. Who knows? the other boom will explode. Bing bang or big bang.
The Big Bang. Yeah,
The big bang.
if you had a super group going, it should be called that.
Yes,
Right.
big bang. Okay, Mr. Sal.
What do you say there, Daniel?
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Michael and Mr. Sal. Have
Thank
a good
you
one.
as well. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks,
Have a
Abstract.
great week.
Yes.
Peace.
More to come, people. See you soon.